Today's coffee break, JetBlue's excellent status match. JetBlue is out with a opportunity to earn status for 3 months by matching from Delta, United, American Airlines, or Alaska Elite status. And don't worry if you don't have status in any of those. We're going to talk near the end of this segment about like how you could get status quickly and easily in some of those programs in order to do this match if you're interested in doing it. And this match will let you match from even bottom level status in one of those programs to Mosaic 1 or 2 in JetBlue for 3 months. And then we'll talk about how you can extend that for even longer in a moment.
And don't forget, if you want more information about this, we'll have a link to our post about this in the show notes. So don't forget to look to the show notes to get a link so you can read more about what we're talking about if you want to see it visually too.
Good
So
point.
let's talk about Mosaic 1 and Mosaic 2 and what that'll get you. So if you match to Mosaic 1, and there's a number of different sort of low tier statuses that match there, like American Airlines Advantage Gold or United Silver, et cetera, that match to Mosaic 1. So Mosaic 1 will get you the first two check bags for free on JetBlue. So that's kind of a nice benefit. Even more space at check-in for no extra charge. And I assume that that probably works for everybody in your party. So it'll get you the
Yeah.
extra legroom seats if they're available when you check in. Free same-day switches if you want to change to a different flight time. Free beer, wine, and liquor on board. And Mint Suite Priority as your selected Mosaic 1 perk you pick, because you get some perks you pick with the different various levels of Mosaic, but you don't get to pick. It's the perk picked for you. It's Mint Sweet Priority.
Quick, quick,
So
quick quiz for you,
but
Nick. Do you know what Mint Sweet Priority is?
well, that's exactly what I was about to ask you. You cut me off as I was about to say, and Greg can tell us more about what Mint Sweet Priority means.
All right, just real quick. So I know that's so confusing. I thought it meant you get like upgraded to Mint, which is JetBlue's business class, but no, that's not what that means. What it
Mm,
means is if you've booked Mint, some of their planes have Mint seats and Mint suites. The suites are the versions with doors, and so this gives you priority to get into one of those suites as opposed to a regular seat.
really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. So I guess that's nice-ish.
Yeah, I mean
If
it's I
it-
wouldn't
yeah.
bank on it being valuable, but
Right.
better
It
than
works
nothing.
out. Right. All right. So that's Mosaic 1. Mosaic 2, which some of the higher tier statuses from various programs match to Mosaic 2. That'll get you even more space at booking, the extra legroom seats at booking, which are near the front, extra few inches, and also the pet fee waiver as your pre-selected Mosaic 2 perk you pick. So again, the perk you don't pick is pet fee waiver. So if you travel with your pets, that could probably add up. I don't travel with pets, so it's not one that I would make much use of. But if you do, that certainly could come in handy. So those are the two levels you can match to. And again, the lower sort of tier statuses from all the major US airlines here, or the major players, Alaska, American, United, and Delta, match to Mosaic 1, and then sort of their mid-tier on up matches to Mosaic 2. And you can see a full chart of that in our post about it. So the challenge here is that once you have matched to one of these, then you'll get the free status for 3 months, and then you have to meet a certain challenge depending on which level of Mosaic you've matched to. And if you complete the challenge, you get the status for the rest of this year and all of next year. So if you were able to complete the challenge, say October 1st of this year, you'll have status for the rest of 2024 and all of 2025. So Mosaic 1 will, in order to meet that challenge, you'll need to earn and receive 10 tiles. So tiles are earned in a variety of different ways, but for example, $1,000 in spend on JetBlue flights or $10,000 in spend on a JetBlue credit card would get you the 10 tiles you need in order to keep Mosaic 1 all the way through the end of next year. Mosaic 2 is earn and receive 25 tiles. So just up those numbers, $2,500 in JetBlue purchases, or rather JetBlue spend, or 25K in spend on the credit card. Mosaic 3, same kind of thing, 40 in the case of Mosaic 3.
Yeah. Let
But
me
at
stop you
Mosaic
for a
3, you get
second.
4 move
And
to mint. Go ahead.
yeah, let me just
Mhm.
stop you for a second and point out something here that in a lot of airline elite challenges, you can only earn the status that you've matched to for the 3 months, and then you could keep it if you meet the challenge. In this case, the two pieces are separate. So, like if you match to, let's say, Mosaic 2, you can just earn Mosaic 1 if you want to. because that's very easy to do and it gives you a lot of good benefits right there. And you could be done with just like $10,000 spent on the credit card. Um, or you can earn all the way up to Mosaic 3 by earning 40 tiles, even if you only match to Mosaic 1. So it's very flexible in that way, which I really like about this. And I put in the show notes just that one of the benefits to call out about Mosaic 3 that makes it interesting above the other two is that you get 4 move to mint certificates, and that those are upgrade certificates that let you buy economy in either with points or with cash, and then apply the certificates to move to mint class. The flight it varies how many you have to use to move to mint, so it could be anywhere from 1 to 4 that you'll need for a one-way flight. Luckily, JetBlue now does show you when you're logged in how many you'll need. So it used to be you had to actually book it and then try to move to mint and see, well, you didn't have enough. Cancel and book something else.
It was a mystery. Moving
Yeah.
to mint was a mystery, but now it's the mystery has been solved. So that's cool. I think that's particularly interesting because somebody with low tier status with American Airlines or Alaska or United could match to Mosaic 1 and then earn 40 tiles and end up with Mosaic 3. So it
Yeah.
significantly reduces your path to getting to Mosaic 3. I can't recall off the top of my head how many tiles you would ordinarily need for Mosaic 3, but more than 40. So
A lot more. Yeah. I can't remember
yeah.
either, but it's a big number. Yeah.
Significantly more, yeah. So the tiles for the promotion can be earned in one of 3 ways. You can earn through travel spend. So I mentioned, for instance, at Mosaic 1, that those 10 tiles you could earn by spending $1,000 in JetBlue flights, for instance. So you can earn from travel spend. You can earn from credit card spend. And so credit card spend, if I'm correct, is basically 1 tile for every $10 spent. So I'm sorry, 1 tile for every $1,000 spent.
That's right.
So apologies for the bad math there. And you can mix and match, I think, right? Or then 3,
Yeah.
you can purchase bonus tiles, and those cost $107 each. So presumably you could do the match and just spend $1,007 on buying tiles and skip flying or spending on the credit card if you wanted Mosaic 1, right?
Yeah, I mean that'd be kind of weird. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not
it
sure
would
why
be.
anyone would do that because that's the same amount of spend that you would need on JetBlue flights. You could actually fly
Right.
places and enjoy your status during that time. But I could see maybe if you didn't have the credit card, you don't have much spend, and you're almost getting there with actual like flights. Maybe you want to buy a tile or two to get there.
Yeah, yeah. So that could be a good way to sort of bridge the gap and end up there. And so again, you earn tiles based on travel spend, credit card, and purchasing bonus tiles. And you can mix and match. So you could earn a few tiles from travel and then earn a few tiles from credit card spend. And so that's why Greg said, yeah, it might make sense to purchase a couple. Like for instance, I recently flew JetBlue Mint to Europe and I had booked that through Qatar Airways Avios, and I was surprised that I received 8 tiles for that. So that was a nice, happy accident surprise that I didn't expect and certainly wouldn't expect again. But if I had done that here, I could buy the other 2 tiles that I would need for $107 each. Now, of course, I did that all before this match came out, so those tiles won't do me any good for this match. But maybe if I had one booked, then it would have worked out a little bit better if I had done this match first. But again, not something you can count on there, just kind of a happy accident. So all that said, so you might say, okay, well, I'd like to match here. I'd like to do this and kind of go after it. I have some JetBlue spend coming up. I have the JetBlue credit card, whatever the case may be. And I would like to get Mosaic 1, 2, or 3 for a year and change. But I don't currently have status with United or American or Delta. What could you do if you want to be
Yeah.
able to take advantage of this match, but don't yet have status that would qualify for it?
Yeah. So I'm going to call out something else that's different about this status challenge than most others. Most of them, they say if you want to match from, let's say, American Airlines, you have to show us your flight activity in order to be eligible. It's not, you can't just use a status that you got through some other trick and then match to JetBlue. But in this case, it actually says it requires having qualified status via flight or card activity. So earning status, let's say, bottom level status in one of these other programs with credit cards should work by the rules of this. And there are Easy-ish ways to do that with Delta, American Airlines, or Alaska right now. So let me start with Delta because this is really the easiest. I think we did a whole show on this, how easy Delta status is to get in 2024. Basically, if you sign up and get approved for two Delta cards, they have to be Delta Platinum or Delta Reserve cards, and you could either get one Delta Platinum and one Delta Reserve, or you could get a Delta Platinum personal card and a Delta Platinum business card, for example, or any combination of all those. They each have this 2,500 what are called MQDs as a just something you get for having the card, and the combination of two of them will get you Delta Silver status, and you're done. And now now you've got Delta Silver status for the rest of this year and all of next, and into January, I think, of the year after that. Plus, you will be able to match to JetBlue for 3 months, and then could do what we talked about before to keep that status longer. So that's the easiest. American Airlines, that's also pretty easy. Now, there's a lot of ways to accomplish this with American Airlines because they have their loyalty points, which you can earn through portals and whatnot. And I know that's not technically card activity. I really doubt JetBlue, whoever is assessing these, is going to understand the difference. They're going to see activity on your account that earns you all the loyalty points you need for American Airlines status. But if you want it to do it entirely from card activity, you could spend $40,000 on an American Airlines card, and that will give you gold status with American. And then you're off to the races. Or if you have the Aviator Silver card, it would only cost you $35,000 because the Aviator card gives you a 5,000 loyalty point boost at 20,000 spend, I think it was. Finally, the Alaska option. For 2024 only, they're not promising this past 2024. You can earn elite qualifications through spend. And right now, if I did my math right, it would take $50,000 of spend to get bottom tier MVP status, which you can then match to JetBlue Mosaic 1. So I think for most people, the Delta one is probably the easiest, although it's not cheap because those cards do have annual fees that you'd have to pay.
Yeah, you do have to consider what the cost of that would be. Now, by the way, I wanted to mention Greg said that we've talked about Delta Elite status a little bit, getting it from credit cards before. And that's true. We have, although you may have a little bit of trouble, I think, finding the particular episode. I thought it'd be easier to find than it was when I looked through. I see that we discussed that idea on Delta's Big Flip Flop, which was episode 225. So you can go back to that one if you want to see a little bit more when they kind of walked back the changes that they had to Elite status. We talked about how you could easily do that. And we also discussed which Delta credit card is best in episode 242. So you can go to episode 242 to read more or listen to more about that, rather. Those are on Frequent Miler on the Air podcasts, because we did talk about, if you value Elite status, how to get it from credit cards on those shows. So yeah, I mean, there's pretty easy paths to get Mosaic 1 here. If you were to follow one of those, the Delta path, I think, is without a doubt the easiest for the greatest number of people. Now, I want to clarify here because somebody is sure to ask if we don't address it directly. If you get American Airlines status because of a fast track from World of Hyatt, is that going to count? Would you be able to match that over here? If you've got Hyatt Globalist status and you've been offered an American Airlines fast track and you get a instant status with that, I believe, will that get you
I
the
mean,
match here?
technically no, but there have been lots of cases where airlines have asked for proof of how you earn your status, and just sending in stuff has worked. Like stuff you've done, like even if it wasn't enough to earn the status. So I would not hesitate to try to match if you're interested. If you got it that way, why not? So
Why not? There you go.
that's a great question. All right, now moving on. What if you're not satisfied with only getting the rest of this year and all of next year? Is there a way to turn this into like 2 full years of JetBlue status? And the answer is a very definite maybe. So if you wait till January to sign up for this match, then that's risky because there's no word on how long this challenge opportunity will last. So there's a big risk in doing that. But if you do, then and meet the terms of the challenge, you'll have your status for the rest of 2025 and all of 2026. Um, Another option that occurred to me is maybe if you enroll in the challenge in, let's say, November, and you complete the challenge in January, let's say January 2nd or later, would you then have status for the rest of this year and all of the next? All I could say is read
The rest of next year and all of the next, I guess, right?
next year and all of the year after that, right? All of
Mm-hmm.
the rest of 2025 and all of 2026. And the answer to that is, again, a definite maybe. The terms are so unclear when they say the rest of this year, what they're measuring from. Like, you could read it as meaning from the time that you enrolled in the challenge, but it's so unclear. In which case that wouldn't work. But if what they really mean is from the time that you completed the challenge, which in some ways seems more likely. That's how these challenges usually work. But again, this is very different from how challenges usually work. So I don't know. I
It's interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe worth a gamble for somebody that really doesn't need the status until next year anyway, to take a gamble at trying to get it for all of next year and the year after that. If you don't need the benefits in the near term, then maybe it's worth waiting it out until November and seeing what happens. But we can't count on that. I don't think we're probably going to get a clear answer to that until people complete the challenge in January, and at that point, it's going to be probably too late to take advantage. So if you want to give that a shot sometime after the beginning of November and wait to finish meeting it.
Then
Will you go after this?
Let
What do
us
you
know what
think?
happens. What's that?
You won't go. Will you go after this challenge? You won't, because you already have JetBlue
Oh, well, I
status, right?
personally, yeah, I can't because
Yeah.
I currently have it from last year's match.
Mhm.
What about you? Are you interested?
I'm not immediately, although I don't know. I mean, JetBlue does have some flights from where I live, and the two free checked bags would make me more likely to fly on JetBlue. I don't know. I could match to it. Whether or not I want to go to the effort to complete the challenge, that I'm not so sure about at this point. So I think if it becomes clear to me that, yeah, I definitely want the JetBlue credit card, or yeah, I'm going to spend around $1,000 on JetBlue flights anyway, then I would match. Otherwise, I'm probably going to hold off until there's a time when I actually, need a match for a more pressing reason, because sometimes doing one of these matches will prevent you from doing a future match, sort of like the situation Greg's in. And I don't need it right now. So I think I'll probably hold off.
Yeah, that
Anyway,
makes sense.
Yep. Let us know what you think. Are you going to do this? Why or why not? We'd always love to hear from you. So you can leave a comment or some feedback and let us know what you think.
Sounds good.
Don't forget, if you've enjoyed this and you'd like to get on our email list, you want to go to frequentmiler.com/subscribe to join our email list, follow us on all the various social media, and check out our Frequent Miler on the Air episodes dropping every Friday.